Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts, a special feature of Mid-Missouri Art News, coming to you live from Jefferson City, Missouri, the capital of Missouri. Today is May 10th, 2017. I'm your host, Rick J., with a special guest today, writer, director, producer, podcaster, Odette Blanch of Springfield, Missouri, via Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Ms. Blanch. On behalf of Spotlight on the Arts, JCTV, we welcome you to the capital city of Jefferson City and surrounding communities that engulf our viewership. Please tell us a little bit about Odette Blanch and those highlights of your life that, let's say, best describe Odette.
Cool. It's like, first of all, I'm now a Canadian, which is great. I'm a Canadian American. So for all of those who don't know, it's like I'm a dual citizen now. This is just a recent thing that happened within the last couple of months. I'm originally from Toronto. I started out my career in theater. I started out with dealing as a stage manager and assistant stage manager. After a number of years in theater, unfortunately what wound up happening was that theater was being trucked in Toronto. So there was very few jobs.
I see.
So what wound up happening is that I was like, okay, I've always had an interest in film and in television and in the entertainment industry. So I was like, okay, well, what's the equivalent to stage managing? And it's like, it was assistant directing.
Yes.
So what I did is, at first I did a years of independence films, and that wound up leading me to the friends who I had that were like, well, why don't you just become a guild member? I was like, okay, how do you become a guild member? Figured it, found out, got my 3 letters from the Directors Guild, which that last letter, I can't thank Grant Luchabello enough, and I will say his name on the air because he's an amazing human being.
Super.
And because he was like my top letter there. I worked on Skulls, the very first movie, as a training assistant director that very day, the one with the late Paul Walker. And
oh, yes.
So it's like I worked my way through that, and then again, 2003 happened, where there was SARS incident, where US and Canada were blaming each other for the SARS incident. So I was like, okay, there started becoming a drought in terms of ADing work. And I was like, okay, you know, I directed in theater for a number of years. I'd like to see what it's like to direct in film. And it's like I had studied for a number of years. I'd been in front of the camera prior to that. I've had other jobs. It wasn't as though that I came there as a noob, to which I had a production manager when I had made mention of the fact that I was looking at it because somebody had dared me to write a script, by which I had done it in a week.
Yes.
I said, okay, I would like to start looking at directing. The guy said to me, what kind of idiot are you? We need, it's like, you're not going to make it in this industry as a director. You have no idea. I'm going to give you money for the script, and I don't ever want to see your face again. I was like, I said, well, what am I lacking? You know, he's like, education. I said, oh, if that's the only thing I need to do, that's easy. Went back to school, did the training that I needed to do, and started finding out a lot more. Then came the directing the first feature film that I did, which was called The Vengeance Circle, which is now out for people on DVD to be able to see.
And that was an international
success,
film.
Yes.
Success, yes.
And then from there, what wound up happening is it just started snowballing. I did a music video, I did several short films, and it's been snowballing ever since the directing career. And then I was like, okay, well, why not start my own production company? Got the licensing, started the production company. Past Lives Productions, Inc. was born. From there, we've got several amazing projects that have come up over the time period. And as it's grown and grown and grown, and then what wound up happening is I started realizing there's things in the industry I don't even know.
Sure.
Still, after all of these years of education and everything, but yet there's still stuff
Still
that...
a learning experience as you go, yes.
Yeah. So what I did is I said, okay, I'm going to seek to find out what's going on. And every year I had gone to the AFM from 2007, the American Film Market.
Yes.
I said, okay, I'd like to find out what it's like, because I've never, it's like I had a little bit of a journalism type background, but not much. I said, you know what, I would like to do press for the American Film Market. We had developed a radio show, because I had been interviewed on a radio show, and I said, I'd like a podcast. You know, I'd like to get into that as well.
Yes.
And next thing you know, Movie Time with Grace and Sonata was born.
And we'll talk about that in the second segment, so stay tuned with us, because we have some great looking clips, and we'll talk about Movie Time and a different identity. So stay with us on that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Also, because of that, what wound up happening is that I started getting to know all of the things, because talking to the people in the industry, the way that it works is sitting down with them directly, asking them questions. They'll give you the answers that they can't give you if you're trying to pitch a film. So it's like, and I was like, I'm learning so much from all of these amazing people. And we have, like I said, as it grew and grew, the directing started developing and growing and growing. The production company has grown and grown to this point.
And now you're an internationally known director, producer, writer, and I'm so honored to have met you and be a part of some of your projects, which we'll probably be able to see. I was also honored, Miss Odette, Miss Blanch, to stand with you and your husband and another I guess, star of one of your features at your swearing in Kansas City, Missouri a few months ago. So I thank you so much for that honor of being there and being part of that big, exciting event to become a U.S. citizen finally. Great.
I can't tell you how amazing that was. Like,
I know you. You just seem like it was on cloud 9 the whole time. I can bring you down to the ground level. But it was interesting. It was very, very much.
And by the way, blame my husband for why I'm here.
Yes, right.
My wooby.
Oh, that's all your husband. Yes, I was going to tell sure. Well, you are a mother.
Yes.
And you are a wife. Yep. With 2 adorable children.
They are. They're 15 and 10.
15 and 10. You want to plug their names?
Yeah, Kadrick and Rugen.
Great, great. Well, to move along, we've got so much to cover. Odette, you've kind of, well, let's say, you know, your inspiration. What really was the main factor that inspired you to become interested in performing arts that we love to cover here under the Spotlight on the Arts?
As a child, I always loved it.
I see.
It's like, as a kid, when I was there, it's like at summer camp, and the 7, when they had me on live theater doing a stage play of Annie, where I got to be Molly on stage. It's like, from there, it was being in front of the camera, but I never really loved the being in front of the camera. I always kept bugging the people behind there, and they used to be like, oh God, her again on set.
It seems to get in our blood, as they say, from smoking them out myself from the very beginning. And then a play in 7th grade where I was Sheriff of Nottingham and had a leading role, and also I got to sing naturally, but I guess it's in our blood. So I can identify you with many other people out there like yourselves that are still doing school plays or have done school plays and wish that you could get back into it and maybe have a career or a part-time. But so stick with us. We'll find out a little bit more. Now, I'd like to ask you, Odette, can you share with us your favorite subject matter, if that's possible, when working on a project? For example, a project that is coming up called What Did She Say?
Yes.
And we're going to have a clip for that in a moment, but kind of give us an intro on What Did She Say, an anti-trafficking film that'll be produced internationally for viewing. Go ahead.
The movie is a crime comedy, first of all, which is like completely, when people hear the words crime comedy, they're like, what? Why would a crime comedy end human trafficking? Because it's taking a look from a lighter side on the heavier issue of human trafficking, first of all. Second, it's like there have been many movies that have been extremely heavy-handed in this, and people don't know that they can actually get involved in this because it's felt so heavy-handed and felt so one-off for them. This is the thing they hear on the news. And it happened right after the Oscars here in Missouri. That they busted a ring here.
Exactly.
That in Toronto just last week, They busted another ring there, and I was like, it's been so heavy. People feel so one away from it because they don't understand it happens right in their own home.
Exactly. In their neighborhood, maybe. Even.
Yeah, even their own child, they may not even know that it might be happening to.
Exactly.
Because it's so subtle.
Yes, very well handled, shall we say, by the underground, what have you.
Yes.
I know I even have friends in Africa that have been basically on the slave trade idea, and then finally worked their way back home. I didn't hear from some of them for 6 months or so,
Yeah.
and I get the report back from Ghana, for example, that I've been a slave for a while. They promised me this and promised me that, to going down to South Africa and do this, do that. So firsthand experience, I've had friends in that nature, and I'm sure you have too.
Absolutely, including our lead actress in our proof of concept. It's like what wound up with her. She has a fascinating story to tell, and someday we'll sit down and give that also to the audience. That was how that wound up having to be. But I mean, people right here in our own neighborhood. It's amazing what happens, and as I've said, people who have been victims of it should not have their story silenced.
Yes. Now
also survivors as well.
Yes.
They shouldn't have their story hidden.
No, it should be out there, and that's what you're trying to do, is get an example of what is going on, possibly.
Yes, on the heavier side.
When you attend certain areas of performance and to some of the clubs, you really have to stop and ask yourself, where are these people coming from? Where's this young lady? She's a dancer. Where'd she come from? So
they have a story.
They have a story, and you're
this
going
is
to
the
introduce that, and possibly maybe even follow-ups.
Yes.
Now, our young lady is from Siberia, where she was
Serbia.
approached, or Serbia.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, yes, Serbia, and but her parents, I guess, was more savvy to what was going on, and fortunately. But you ran across Our Lady, if you want to give her the name and the...
Katia Alibrayeva was the one who was our lead for our proof of concept.
Proof of concept.
And her family's originally from Russia, but it's like when she came here, as I said, she has a fascinating story, but the gist of it being that when she came here, somebody tried to also get her at the airport. And luckily there was somebody who was there to rescue her. And people don't realize that they can actually take action and rescue people from the situation. You can talk to people. There are outlets. There's amazing coalitions that are around. There are people who can help, even the average person. But the reason why this story is also so poignant is people are one away from it. They don't actually get a chance to feel like they could be part of the story. Maybe this ring would have happened to be closed sooner had it been that somebody felt that as a regular citizen, they could do something. Well, in this story, it shows a possibility of somebody. He's a simple he's a UN interpreter, basically a interpreter that happened to have gotten a job at the UN, but could do it for anybody in a company as a translator and interpreter.
Yes, that's another avenue.
Because he's got multiple characteristics with that.
Well,
it's like a multiple accents and those different languages.
Well, now you've got us on pins and needles.
Yes.
And we have a clip of what they call proof of concept trailer.
Yes.
And I'll ask you to go ahead and introduce that, if you would.
Yes. And our proof of concept trailer in here, it will give you a little bit of a synopsis in regards to what kind of fun things that you are in for with the actual movie. Well, it is going to be one heck of a ride. And as we say in our log line, basically that a UN interpreter and a Serbian immigrant are having a really bad day.
Well, that's a look at the clip of the proof of concept trailer, as they call it in the business. And I now would like to recognize that through this proof of concept trailer and what Odette, Miss Blanch, has attempted in the beginning of proof of concept, now in pre-production, shall we say, for the film. I understand that there's major anti-traffic agencies have endorsed your project to include the Central Missouri Stop Human Trafficking Coalition out of Columbia, Missouri, where yes. Odette was on a panel that discussed these issues. So it's just not a film that is just coming at us today. This has been in the process, going on 2 to 3 years.
Correct.
So can you share with us a little bit about the current status of the project? What did she say?
Absolutely. With regards to the project itself, yes, we have been endorsed by the Central Missouri Coalition Against Stop Human Trafficking. We've also had Polaris Project, We Are Free, several organizations. When I showed them the proof of concept and told them about the film, they had a little bit of a step back, and then they watched that and read the script, and they were like, "We 100% are behind you with this." Oh, yeah. It is such a fresh angle and take on this. So they have endorsed the production. A board also has happened that we've gotten people from different agencies, the productions, distribution, that has stated their interest in the project.
Great. I can vouch for that because
yes.
I talked to many of those people in assisting you in the pre-production, so I enjoyed that and made contact, and it was great to be, again, part of it in that aspect. Well, Odette, we must take a break. After the break, viewers, we learn more about Ms. Odette Blanch, who also is a well-known show host, Grayson Sonata, on Movie Time. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Rick J., your host, here on Spotlight on the Arts, coming from the capital city, Jefferson City, Missouri, with a very special guest today. I continue with Miss Odette Blanch, who is an expert on film, serving the film industry for many years as an internationally known screenwriter, director, producer, and podcaster. Miss Odette Blanch, yes, of Springfield, Missouri, and should we say USA and Ontario, Canada. Odette, I'm also interested in presenting you to our viewers as Grayson Sonata.
Yes.
who hosts a program known as Movie Time. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes up Movie Time?
Yes, Movie Time with Grace and Sonata. First of all, the name Grace and Sonata came from my avatar name. So I was like, okay, I had done machinima for a while as well. And what I did is I adopted my avatar name to be my radio name.
Super.
So Movie Time with Grace and Sonata is by the people in the industry, for people in the industry and beyond. People who want to hear the real behind the scenes. As I said, and that it's like those are the people who are the guests, like the executive producers, the behind the scenes, the financiers, the distributors, the people who, it's like really are the ones who make the movie along with the actors. It's a collaborative process, but a lot of people don't understand the collaborative process behind there. They all have fascinating stories. So week by week, what I do is I'm interviewing various guests. Like last week we had Libron Artsy who came on there. We've had Catherine Swan. We had Ellie Partovi. We've had 5 years of shows, if I had to name everybody. Franco Sama. Gosh, we've had lawyers like Gordon Firemark and also Mark Jacobs and people from various parts of the industry. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able, as I said, we'd be a 3-hour show if I had to name all 5 years of everybody. And they've been incredible, and I want them all back again anytime soon. And what we do is we go into an in-depth, step-by-step in the industry. Also have had a chance, because of Movie Time, to get places like VisionCon and go there recently and be able to interview new and upcoming people and be able to get their works in as well. The show Movie Time, I have 2 amazing hosts with me, of my co-hosts, Olaf and Arpo. And they are Richard Poshard, who's Arpo, and Olaf Barbosa, that is actually his name, Olaf Barbosa. And also on Fridays, we have Kinte also there. Yes. So we're normally on iHeartRadio and 12 other stations and have about 20,000 listeners.
Super. And once again, I was honored to be on their program twice, where we talked about the ins and outs, some of the hidden things, if you're looking into being an actor. You want to be in film, you want to be in commercials, which I am, under my performer name, Rick J. But we talked about what the ins and outs and what to look for.
Yes.
And so even that is still, you can tune into that as an old production. So again, honored to be part of that Movie Time also. Well, I understand we have a short clip, as promised, that best describes a little bit of your Movie Time productions. Can you intro that for us?
Absolutely. This one is dealing with our VisionCon episode, because VisionCon, it's like you had a really diverse group there of people. It's like we had everything from cosplay, people who we had interviewed, as well as also different authors who, it's like their works that really deserved to be out there, as well as we also had a really cool guest, the original Flash. So you will be able to see some of these interviews.
Okay, let's run the clip, see, get an idea what Movie Time's all about. Stay tuned, be right back.
We're part of a work called Eclectic Endeavors, which is a part of the Springfield Regional Art Council. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Everything we make over and above our operating expenses actually goes towards a scholarship towards the nerd and geeky arts. So we gave a scholarship away this year, and we'll be giving another one away next year, hopefully, depending on how much we make.
Excellent.
And it's all towards anything gaming related, so game design, media arts, writing, anything of a nerd type culture. You know, if you want to be a graphic artist. What?
Podcaster.
If you want to be a podcaster, you know, we do panels on how to do a successful Kickstarter campaign, how to draw a comic book, how to design costumes. We do all of that, and we're just basically trying to teach people that all these geeky, nerdy things are also educational and art.
Yes.
We're involved in education and art, and we want to spread the art and education of the nerd subculture. And that's what we're about.
Excellent. And you're located where?
Well, we're in Springfield, and the actual convention is at the Expo Center in October. We also do a picnic once a year at Phelps Grove Park. It's free to go. We provide the hot dogs and hamburgers, and then it's potluck for everything else. We have lawn games. We have people under the pavilion playing Dungeons and Dragons and Magic. We do a DM battle once a year where it's kind of like Iron Chef for Dungeon Masters. We give them 3 elements. They have to make a dungeon, and they run them with some people. Then we kind of vote to see who's the Iron DM. And we also do a game day at the headquarters of the Regional Arts Center called the Creamy Arts Center once a year, where it's like 7 hours of board games, card games, just come in and play for free.
And how would somebody contact you?
You'd go to springfieldgame.com is our website. You get one of our flyers here at the convention, and you can find our flyers also at Metagames in Springfield. Cave Turkey has some of our flyers. Places like that, 1984, you can get a flyer, of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Like I said, go to springfieldgame.com or check us out on Facebook at Eclectic Endeavors is the name of the group.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for what you do.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, anything gaming, anything arts, media, nerd culture, we're all about it.
I feel also the actor-director relationships have also changed over time because with it.
He's a much younger Barry Allen than I was. I think I was early 30s when I did it, and he's early 20s when he started. So that his lends itself to a little more vulnerability. Also, it was a different time period. It was 1990, so the suit had to be very muscular and very fast. Now they've sleeked it down and made it appropriate to speed. I think my Barry had a bit more edge, but then he was older, and it's interesting to see Grant's Barry progress.
That was a great clip. Now we have an idea about movie time. Well, Odette, do you have any other film or movie time projects now in process scheduled for a future venue for show and or listenership?
Actually, there are several things that have come up. Not only is What Did She Say coming through on It's Green, but also it's a project called Passing Reunion that has just come with my fellow co-producer, Catherine Swan. Yes. And so I'm looking forward to that one. It's like, it is going to be a great one. If you loved basically from today, if you ever wanted to come home again, and the way that I say it, it's like when the summer of love ends, it becomes the time of your life.
Super.
You know, it's like you come back home and you still have the people who it's like in your years that have been, you know, they never actually grew up, and you've been the only grown up in the room.
Yes. Yeah, I think we all have our moments, so we wouldn't be in this type of work, should we say, or the fun time, the awesome time that we have in film and doing commercials and movie time and radio production, what have you. So,
and also seeing the growth of a person from the like how they grow as a human being over the years and stuff like that. So this is a great one, Passing Reunion. Yes. Also have a wonderful webinar series that's coming up that I'd like people to get involved and get interested in. It is called What They Didn't Tell You in Film School. Now, there is a lot that they didn't tell you in film school. Let's be honest, including also a lot of the Hollywood scams that have occurred. It's like also, how is it that you get from script to screen in regards to that? How is it that you can prepare yourself for an investor? What's the business of film? Because they tell you all the beautiful camera work and all that nice artistic, you can, you know, lay out the shots, they show you the ideal crew. Well, there's a lot that they didn't tell you about in film school, and I cannot wait to tell you all about what they didn't tell you.
Can you give us, excuse me, can you give us your link for movie time?
Absolutely.
And definitely look for YouTube, not only on JCTV and Mid-America News, Art News, and also Spotlight on the Arts, but we'll cover that. If you can, run down to us your
absolutely
links.
For the links for the website, it's for the movies, it's www.pastlivesproductionsinc.net. You'll be able to see Vengeance Circle on there, Passing Reunion, Dark Curtains, which is another production that we are doing, as well as What Did She Say, and Cover to Cover.
Yes.
So there's
I
about
see.
5 or 6 productions on there that you can have a great gander at, and they're also related to our DFCN website, Digital Film Cloud Marketing. Sorry, Digital Film Cloud Network. And so that's where the projects also lay for more information for you.
Sure, super.
So they're on them and on Slated. As well as also you can get for Movie Time, there is several places that you can go. You can go at Movie Time Indie on Twitter, at Sonata Grayson on Twitter. On the website and on Facebook page, there is a Movie Time website page in regards to that. Or you can go on Spreaker.com, indieradio.org. You can go also on my YouTube page, the Grayson Sonata page, and Movie Times page, and be able to see some amazing interviews.
Super.
Regarding the productions, otherwise, it's like if they want to get in touch with me in regards to helping with the fundings on projects or anything like that, or have any interest in terms of building out the projects or etc., they can get in touch with me via the website as well, the www.pastlivesproductionsinc.net.
And you're also on Facebook. And is there a office number that they could call you maybe for a personal interview or
they
just
could, but it's like
discussion?
it's also great to have it on the Facebook page because it links right to my email. I'm
super.
always, if they leave a message for me of where they'd like me to get in touch, I'll absolutely get in touch back. It's like I'm not one of those people who it's like you'll hear from me in like 9 weeks or something like that. No, I'm a person who it's like if you tell me like I'm interested in hearing more information, I will get back to them. Also as well, as I say, I'm on LinkedIn, Visipedia, on like I said, on the Twitter, on Facebook, and as I often say at the end of my show, if you can't find me after 4 pages of
I see.
footprint on the internet, you're just not stalking me hard enough.
On Twitter is Grayson Sonata.
At Sonata Grayson.
Oh, Sonata Grayson. Okay,
Yes.
on Twitter.
As well as at Movie Time Indie.
Now, these projects, you should know that always a certain amount of money's donated to certain projects. If you want to talk about those for a few
Absolutely.
seconds.
We're also running a crowdfunding. It's like I do not believe in crowdfunding. However, people who do wish to do that, it's like they will receive a thank you credit in regards to that. Because I feel like, for example, with What Did She Say, with Passing Reunion, all of the movies that we pick, the way we pick projects that have a purpose, a meaning, something that really benefits the community. For example, with What Did She Say, a percentage of the profits, should the movie become profitable, will be going directly back to the coalitions in regards that who have endorsed the project themselves.
The ones that have endorsed it a certain
Correct.
amount, a certain percentage, because they always look at certain
Well,
things sometimes.
Even their patronage, because
yes,
they have been behind us from the beginning. And you can't buy that patronage with cash.
Exactly.
That's people who have sat there and said to us, we will come and see this film. We will endorse this. We have put our endorsement behind this person who it's like they barely knew from Toronto via Missouri and who presented this amazing project to them.
And we should bring up that this, What Did She Say, will be at the International Cannes
Film Festival.
Yes. If you're familiar with that. If not, get on and the computer and the website and find out about CANN.
Yes.
This is an international film debut, you might say, a time that you can talk about a shot in the arm for a film. This is we wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Well,
Alfredo Gilbert of DFCN has promised that he will be promoting us at Cannes Film Festival. So you'll be hearing about What Did She Say, Passing Reunion, all of the projects that are on the DFCN website. So hopefully he will.
Well, stay tuned. We've got another look at the end of the show. We have another look at What Did She Say clip. I want, on behalf of the JCTV and Mid-Missouri Art News, Spotlight on the Arts, I want to thank you for being a guest today. I'm honored to have you here, and it's been really an awesome interview with so much information. Next, I would like to thank you, I guess, officially.
Yes. No, thank you. Also, it's like, and definitely, like I said, if you guys, if anybody has film questions or anything, also look out for that webinar, because what they didn't teach you in film school, especially if you are somebody who is interested in film, television, the arts in general, in the entertainment industry, this is something you really need to get involved with.
Super. Well, thank you once again. Next, I'd like to highlight a few sponsored events scheduled by the Jefferson City Art Club for the year 2017. Will be a 2-month running at the Runge Nature Center on 179 Highway. There'll be 20 paintings there from 20 different persons of the Jefferson City Art Club. That'll be naturally centered around something with nature. I'll be having a young lady, involving a young lady feeding some fish, and so check those out. And then this fall, November the 10th, celebrating the 114th year of the Jefferson City Art Club, called The Fling. It's a social. It's open to the public, no admission, prizes every 15 minutes, a lot of art, a lot of great artists, so come and rub elbows. Doors will open at 6 p.m. at the Hawthorne Bank Special Events Center on Amazonas Boulevard, there by Hy-Vee, if you remember, Hy-Vee there on the Truman Boulevard. Food, beverages, door prizes, and more. Wear your dress up best to look and feel good. Well, next year on Mid-Missouri Art News will be taped on June 7th. I'll be featuring a guest from Sedalia, 2 guests, in fact, from the Sedalia Visual Arts Association, Glenda Miller, who paints with fiber, and Linda Hoover, who is now known for a recent building mural in Sedalia, Missouri. Phil Schroeder of the Jefferson City Art Club, who doesn't want to be on camera, he's a little camera shy. He will be the featured artist on the JCAC website for a period of 6 weeks, and will be exhibiting his artworks at the Jefferson City South Ridge DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle, which we all get to be a part of at some time. A lot is happening in the world of art in Mid-Missouri. Thank you for your assistance, our producer, Gloria Inlow, and thank you, our viewers, for watching. If you ever feel like donating a few dollars or a few pennies to JCTV, which we're trying to keep on the air in the city of Jefferson City, please think about us and do so we can bring more, continue bringing more interesting shows like today's. Look for more Mid-Missouri Art News right here on JCTV and YouTube. I'd like to close with one more look at a professional reel of the upcoming film in production, pre-production, What Did She Say?, directed by Odette Blanch. Odette, would you give us one more intro to this clip?
Absolutely. The film, What Did She Say?, is a crime comedy. Now, when we mention crime comedy and human trafficking, as I mentioned as well, it's a very odd combination. However, in this particular case, it is a story about a gentleman who happens to be a UN interpreter, who on the night of his bachelor party accidentally rescues a human trafficking Serbian immigrant who thought that she was coming here to America to actually be a hostess, and finds out that she is going to be a stripper at a club, and is forced into doing this. On her debut night, Matthew rescues Vesna. Has no idea he actually did this until the morning when he finds her in his shower. And his fiance walks in and thinks the worst 3 weeks before the wedding happens. Yes. So what winds up happening is that between he and his buddies, they have to figure out how to balance life between telling his fiance who this strange woman is, how he can help her out to get away from this ring, and be able to help get her into the country, to working to be part of the country legally, and being able to, or to be able to go home. And again, it's about dealing with their buddies and really what happens within the 3 weeks, and realizing that a lot of people, even though they may not be trafficking, they still do other activities as well. And he finds out a lot of interesting information. And now whether he winds up with his fiance or winds up with Vesna, that you'll just have to see.
Great. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for staying tuned and within the show. And look for the next taping around June 7th, or June 7th actually, and we'll be looking for us on Mid-Missouri Art News, Spotlight on the Arts. I thank you, and let's now turn to the clip. See you again.